And the Sukuk, in the matter of fact, from the issuer perspective, you have two discussions on Sukuk today. From the issuer perspective and from the investor perspective. From the issuer perspective, the issue of Sukuk can be sovereign, for example. You have a lot of federal government issue Sukuk. The most notable one, for example, the Malaysian Global Sukuk issued 2002, redeemed already 2006, 500 million USD, listed on Luxembourg and some in London and so forth and so on. One of the example of how the government mobilized the public resources for the purpose of governmental development in the country. They want to develop some infrastructure, so they issued Sukuk for the public, for them to get the money for development, and the public are paid, and the Sukuk anyway redeemed in 2006 already. So it's just academic to discuss now. But good example of the successful issuance, tradable, and redeemed Sukuk for that particular situation. And also some states are also issued Sukuk, for example, the Saxony-Anhalt Sukuk in Germany, 200 million euro in 2007, I'm not mistaken, 2007, 2008, not 2004, something like that. I mean, you can see the years back. You type down on internet, you can look into that Sukuk. Example of the Germany. And in Malaysia, we have issued one Sukuk, municipal Sukuk, in 2005. And we are now discussing of issuing another new municipal Sukuk. We are working on that Sukuk now. To issue municipal Sukuk, the municipality, they need money for the infra purposes, for the development of some governmental development in that particular situation. We assessing the business, what they want to do is the money, the proceed, what they want to do, and so forth and so on. And to my assessment, these municipal can issue Sukuk because the money that they want to do is for the development of the municipalities. I mentioned about Pasir Gudang. Anybody who want to know more about this Pasir Gudang Sukuk, you can give me your email and I can send to you some info on how it was done and it's ready anyway. Okay, you don't see on the public domain anymore because one is redeemed, then it's taken out from the it is listed and traded. It is traded, sorry. Okay. What are the things that need to be considered when issuing of Sukuk, for example? Besides the normal consideration that you have to give, the rating and everything, the legal consideration, the purpose and everything, there are also some Shariah consideration that need to be looked into when you decide to issue Sukuk. The first thing is that what you want to use the money for. Most of the situation, the money, if say for example the government and the municipal, for example, their intention is for development purposes. So most of the time it is allowed for you for that particular, unless you want to raise a gambling center, which I don't think any government want to do that, then we have a Sharia problem. If you want to have railways, you want to have hospital, you want to have university, you want to have whatnot, there is nothing in Sharia that prohibit you from that. In fact, I believe it's something encouraged for the government to get the public to be involved in developing all this infrastructure in the government. The first one is the proceed. The second one is what are the structure to be used in that particular issuance. Of course, this need a detail further on how the structure to be used. You may need to engage the scholars on what are the structure useful and so forth and so on. What I can say in this particular juncture is that for the municipal, for the government to issue Sukuk is totally generally acceptable from the Sharia perspective. Of course, you have to also look the proper legal documentation to ensure that the structure that you raise following the Sharia and also enforceable in court of law. Okay. It has been proven that issuance of Sukuk can be made not only by Islamic entities, but also what they call, I put Islamic there because the definition of Islamic is something very wide. You don't have to have the word Islamic to be considered Islamic compliant, Sharia compliant. So it can be issued even by entities known to be non-government, non-Muslim government entities. For example, Germany have issued Sukuk, for example, for that. And and they have benefited from the sukuk for development and for the usage of the of the province of Saxony and Anhalt for that particular situation, provided that the proceeds to be used for purposes which do not contradict, we are not contrary to the Sharia. Sorry, I think we have discussed about this already. Okay, that's my conclusion. The offering of Islamic products and instruments has been widened to cover another areas, a lot of areas, not only banking, but also the Islamic capital market and also the financial market for that particular situation. Nevertheless, the offering of this product shall be offered in a manner compliant to the Sharia, which expertise are available in these current practices. You can have a lot of expertise on that particular situation. Sharia-wise, you have a lot of Sharia scholars who have been advising sukuk for such a long time. So they can easily advise you on how to structure and how to ensure that the sukuk is in compliance with the Sharia. You have legal fraternity who can ensure you that your sukuk will be in compliance with the legal requirement and so forth and so on. There are rating agency who can interact with you in how for them to rate these Islamic papers and so forth and so on. I believe that the infrastructure is there. The people who on the ground can help in terms of the issuance of sukuk and in terms of issuance of any Islamic capital market product. With that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We do have a few minutes remaining for questions if anybody wanted to ask any. Yes, Steve, if you could come up to the microphone and briefly introduce
Sure.
yourself.
Stephen Ranzini, University Bank, University Islamic Financial. In a sukuk structure, are mudaraba, ijara, and musharaka the only three legal structures underlying, or can other structures be used?
Besides mudaraba, musharaka, and ijara, there are other structures as well that can be employed. Of course, it depends on a lot of things. It depends on the legal requirement and everything. But to make it simple and answer directly, there are sukuk istisna, for example. There are sukuk murabaha. There are sukuk salam, for example. In Bahrain, they have issued sukuk salam for nearly how many years already? It's successfully done for managing liquidity. In Malaysia, we have several sukukul istisna, for example, manufacturing contracts, sukukul istisna. There are sukuk murabaha issued everywhere in the world. That's among the contract that you can use. Even in some circumstances, the contract, the sukuk is so widely used, for example, you can even breach the asset that you have. You have the tangible asset, you have some debt asset, you can put together for you to issue sukuk for that particular situation. So they are not only confined to ijara, mudarabah, and musharaka. There are a lot other instruments that can be used for the issuance of sukuk.
Anyone else? Yes, Blake. Again, if you could just briefly introduce yourself.
Blake Good, sharingrisk.org. My question is about sukuk, like the GE Capital sukuk, which took conventional financial leases and stripped out the non-Sharia compliant aspects. Do you see that that's going to be something that's going to be more widely used in the future?
Okay, thank you. GE Sukuk, by the way, is also listed on Malaysian Stock Exchange. The US issuance last year, I'm not mistaken, up until now is also listed on the Malaysian Exchange. I cannot say that this is going to be moving forward the only structure that can be used or widely to be used. But what we can say is that the ijara base that has been used in GE is already widely used before the GE and after the GE anyway. But in some circumstances, maybe ijara is not suitable for the Canadian, for example. Because for you to use ijara, you must have a real leasable asset for you to do that. It may not be available in certain issuance for that matter. That's why some people use mudarabah, some people use musyarakah, some people use murabaha, and otherwise. And as I said, it will depend on situation for you to suit for your issuance. And of course, the GE structure is one of the most popular structure.